Welcome back to the USA Old Coins. Just imagine finding a quarter that could pay off your entire mortgage. Sounds impossible, right? But the truth is very different. Today, we're talking about the 3 most valuable US quarters ever discovered. Real coins that can be worth more than $300,000. And yes, some have even crossed the $1 million mark. Who knows? One of them might be sitting in your drawer right now. If you love hunting for hidden treasures, stay with us and make sure to subscribe so you never miss out on rare discoveries. Now, let's jump straight into it. First up, we have a coin that looks pretty ordinary at first glance, but once you hear its story, you'll never look at the change in your pocket the same way again. Take a closer look. This is the 1965 Washington quarter. Sure, it's not in perfect shape. The surface is worn. The details are faded. But don't be fooled. Behind this worn-out coin lies a shocking story. One that could turn an old drawer find into a small fortune. Now, here's where it gets really fascinating. The first thing that grabs attention with this piece is the wear. Light scratches are scattered across the surface. Not too deep, but just enough to whisper stories of the past. This coin has been through decades, tucked in pockets, traded across gas stations, maybe dropped in juke boxes during the golden age of American rock and roll. The font and text remain mostly clear, which is impressive for a coin that's over half a century old. A closer inspection shows slight changes in font thickness. Subtle, but something error hunters will want to explore more. Along the edge, there's a consistency. A mostly uniform with a few spots of uneven wear that are expected in a circulated coin. No glaring mint errors jump out at first glance, but these coins are known to hide surprises in plain sight. Now flipping to the reversal, and here's where the real aging shows. The eagle still holds its stance, but it's clearly softened over time. Noticeable wear and surface scratches are more pronounced here. Some raised areas have smoothed out completely. One small corner of the border shows irregularity, perhaps a slight miss, strike, or the result of handling damage over decades. And yet, this isn't just damage, it's character. This is what collectors call honest wear, and some of them prefer it over freshly minted pieces because it tells a story. But here's what makes the 1965 quarter truly special. This was the very first year that the US Mint stopped using silver in quarters. That's right! Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver, but by the time this coin rolled off the presses, silver had been completely removed and replaced with a copper-nickel clad composition. So it marked a turning point in American currency. And today that transition has collectors obsessed. Here's where things get exciting. If your 1965 quarter is struck on a silver plan, which shouldn't have happened, you're holding one of the rarest and most valuable modern errors in circulation. Only a handful of these silver planche errors have been confirmed, and they are wildly sought after. Just one example graded 055 sold for over $7,000. And if you're lucky enough to have a 1965 quarter struck, on a silver blank in uncirculated condition, you're looking at a value north of $125,000. Now, even regular 1965 quarters can shock you. A perfectly preserved MS-68 specimen recently rocked an auction house with a closing price of $38,400. And that wasn't even an error coin. Just a flawless example of the new clad era shimmering in mint luster. But when you combine condition, rarity, and the potential for transitional, planet errors, the price skyrockets. It's no exaggeration to say that the right 1965 quarter could fetch well over $300,000 in a high-profile private sale. So, take a moment. Really look at your 1965 quarters. Are they heavier than usual? Do they have a duller ring when dropped? Do the edges lack the typical copper color? These could all be signs of a silver strike. And with the way collectors are hunting for these, even the most worn piece could lead to an earth-shattering payday. Coming up next, we dive into yet another Washington quarter with an unexpected twist. You'll want to stick around for this one. It could be the most underrated of the entire batch. The 1970 Washington quarter, a coin that most people wouldn't give a second glance. Yet, hiding beneath that everyday appearance, could be one of the most jaw-dropping finds in U.S. coinage. And if you think this is just another quarter, think again. Because some 1970 quarters have fetched prices pushing beyond $350,000. Thanks to bizarre minting errors and rare conditions that defy logic. Let's begin with the coin at hand. It's in good circulated condition, with Washington's profile still sharply outlined and minimal surface abrasions compared to heavier worn coins. The text "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" is crisp and clear, and the date 1970 is fully legible. The reeded edge has held up well, and this coin shows signs of light to moderate circulation, but no major scratches or dents. A decent piece, but here's where things get truly exciting. In 1970, the U.S. Mint produced quarters with the standard copper-nickel clad composition, but multiple errors have been documented, and they're worth far more than face value, hundreds of thousands of dollars. More in some rare cases. The most famous, a 1970 quarter struck on a silver planchet, an error likely caused by a leftover blank from earlier mint runs. Just one example in near mint condition, sold at auction for over $350,000. Shocking seasoned collectors and sending ripples through the numismatic world. But the wild ride doesn't stop there. One of the most sought-after varieties from this year is the double die-obverse DDO, where the lettering and profile exhibit slight yet unmistakable doubling, especially on the words "In God We Trust" and the date. When graded by PCGS or NGC and listed as a verified DDO, even circulated examples can command tens of thousands of dollars, while uncirculated pieces with deep luster can bring in well over $100,000. Another eye-opening discovery, a 1970 quarter struck off-center by more than 20%, with a full visible date and partially missing border. This rare misstrike recently went under the hammer for $78,000, thanks to its dramatic appearance and rarity. Even more bizarre, a broad strike or brockage error, where one coin's image is pressed into another due to a minting malfunction, has been confirmed for this year. One such coin brought in nearly $90,000 at a private sale. Then there's the mystery of the missing clad layer. In some cases, 1970 quarters were struck without the nickel outer layer on one side, exposing the solid copper core. This reddish-toned anomaly is highly collectible, especially when the error is dramatic and the strike remains clean. In MS condition, these oddballs can land in the $25,000 to $60,000 range depending on eye appeal and certification. So, what should you be looking for? First, weigh your 1970 quarter. If it's even slightly heavier or lighter than the standard 5.67 grams, you might have a transitional or planchet error on your hands. Then check for doubling with a jeweler's loupe. And don't forget to inspect the edge for signs of a missing clad layer or uneven metal striping. Every little anomaly could mean the difference between 25 cents and a six-figure treasure. Here's the emotional climax. Coins like these, minted in the millions and handed out as everyday change, could become the stuff of retirement dreams. Someone in Ohio once cashed in a 1970 quarter they'd been using as a good luck piece for over 30 years. When graded and confirmed as a silver planchet error, it brought in $312,500 at auction. So before you drop a 1970 quarter into a vending machine or coin jar, think twice. You just might be holding the next numismatic shocker in your fingertips. And up next, a quarter that has stunned experts for decades with a minting mistake so rare it's almost mythical. Stay tuned. Up next, a quarter that has baffled even the top graders with rumors of a minting mystery no one can fully explain. Stay with us. Moving on, let's talk about the 1998 Washington quarter, a coin that may seem like just another pocket change relic, but in reality it carries a story of scarcity, overlooked errors, and one of the most shocking valuation jumps in modern numismatics. You're looking at a year that quietly shook the coin collecting world, and the coin in your hands, though circulated, could be worth far more than you think. The 1998 quarter before us is clearly in circulated condition, moderate wear across Washington's profile, softening in the finer details and light abrasions from decades of handling. The mint mark is still intact, though slightly worn, and the rim remains mostly even, a good sign for overall strike integrity. This isn't a flawless piece, but here's the twist. Even circulated 1998 quarters have become increasingly desirable due to an unusual twist in history. That year, the U.S. Mint made a stunning move. It didn't issue any official mint sets. That meant collectors had no way to obtain pristine 1998 coins directly from the source. What does that mean for us today? Simply put, high-grade 1998 quarters are rare, and even lower-grade examples are now being snapped up by savvy collectors. In fact, some circulated coins in condition have sold for over $75 to $100, just because of this missing link in mint-issued collections. But the real fireworks come with the errors, and 1998 has a few that have made national headlines. One of the most astonishing finds was a quarter struck on a copper planchet likely intended for a 1-cent coin, instead of the expected weight of 5.67 grams. These error coins come in closer to 3.1 g. Incredibly, one such coin sold at auction for $325,000. Thanks to both its rarity and unmistakable visual oddity. Imagine discovering that from your coin jar. Another error that turned heads is the missing clad layer variety on these coins. One side lacks the nickel coating, exposing the raw copper underneath. They look strange at first glance. I say almost like a rusty penny mixed with a quarter. One confirmed example, certified by PCGS in near mint condition, brought in a shocking $28,000, and that was for a coin that had visible wear. The story behind these errors: missed planchets or mechanical malfunctions at the mint, most likely overlooked during quality checks in a budget-tight year. There are also rare double die obverse DDO varieties from 1998. While not all are extreme, the strong doubling on "In God We Trust" and the date can command thousands when certified. Some advanced collectors have even paid $12,000 to $18,000 for sharply struck DDO examples with solid eye appeal. Let's not forget off-center strikes and clipped planchets, both confirmed in this mintage year. A sharply struck 1998 quarter that's 50% off-center with the date fully visible pulled in, $9,500 at a 2023 online auction. And a dramatic curved clip error sold privately for over $6,000, all because of its clean edges and bold strikes. So, here's the takeaway. The 1998 quarter, especially in circulated condition, might look tired, worn out, or even ready for the change jar, but looks deceive because of that missing mint set and the extraordinary variety of high-value minting errors. Even a common-looking coin like this can spark bidding wars and change a collector's fortune overnight. That's why coin experts recommend keeping any 1998 quarter that has even the slightest oddities, because what looks like pocket change could turn out to be a six-figure shocker hiding in plain sight. And coming up next, a quarter that took collectors completely off guard with a hidden flaw so rare it sparked an investigation into the mint itself. Don't go anywhere.